Hi, this is Lorraine, and I'm doing another video. If you'll give me just a few minutes to clear, center, and balance my energy, and we can get started. So, I guess I'll start at the end. I was going to start at the beginning, but while I was clearing my energy, a very strong message came in. And so as soon as I close my eyes and I kind of go through my routine of clear, center, and balancing my energy and asking for help and fulfilling my purpose on this world, and there was a line of angels, and they just kind of came and they split left, right, left, right, left, right, and kind of like soldiers getting in formation, moving into formation. And they said, "You are clear," meaning my energy is clear, and we are ready. The time is now. And so as they were sending this message, they were coming in straight line and then splitting off in each direction. And then I saw, so this will go, I'll get more into this late in a few minutes, but one main angel to this side, one main angel to that side, and then an overreaching energy that was the umbrella over all, meaning unity, divinity, the source of all creation. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. And so this would be on the 15th. That was Monday. I was on the bus. I was struggling with some negative or defensive thoughts on the bus this morning, and I started asking for help and asked, why does my mind go to this place? I know this isn't true. And then I have a note on the side where I was thinking of why would this happen, and I was thinking fear of rejection. Maybe it's safer not to expect things from people, to believe it's not what I think or believe things to be. And so I started thinking, this is about perspective, right? And so I talked a little bit in the last video about, just some of my struggles and traumas from childhood, not too specifically, but a little bit more than I have in the past. And so there's a lot of betrayal of trust that I experienced as a child. And so that just makes it very difficult for me to trust people. So sometimes it's easier for me not to have any expectations. It's easier for me to be by myself and not trust people. And it's easier for me to push people away than to let them in. So day to day, I'm very open and friendly with people. I love chatting people up. I'm very verbal. I'm very accepting of people. I'm very forgiving of people. But as I engage them in the world. But in my personal life, people I allow into my home are few and far between. It's a very personal space. Some people love to bring people into their personal space. I'm very selective about who I bring into my personal space. And so those are people I trust. And there are very few people that I trust enough to allow into my personal space. And so when I start to build a relationship, most of my friends I've known since I was a little kid, but new people who come into my life, when I start to build a relationship, I'm just much more hesitant than I think most people are, even though I'm open and very friendly. And so what happens is, especially with relationships, I'll just say specifically any kind of romantic relationship, it's easier for me to not have expectations and sabotage that and prove myself right than it is for me to allow something or someone in. And so when I talk about this defensiveness I was feeling, it's it's from that place of um, allowing someone in, and fearing betrayal of trust. That's what I was feeling I was going through. So as I'm going through this and I'm asking for help and I'm asking for help in releasing this energy, because I shouldn't feel this way. I know I shouldn't feel this way. I know certainly how this other person feels, let's just say, because I don't want to get into specifics, but I'm very confident in the relationships I build and the people I allow into my home, and because they never would have gotten there into my home in the first place if there wasn't something exceptional about them. So why do I always go to this other place and start to, because I know it's not just the physical world, it's my consciousness. I can manifest this negative stuff into my life by thinking about it, by entertaining just the idea of it. So I'm asking, why am I going to this place? Why am I taking the risk of manifesting this into my life, especially right now when manifesting is coming so quickly to me and easily, readily? Why do I want to risk manifesting this negativity into my life? And sabotaging something that could be very good. So I said, I asked, why does my mind go to this place? So I'm going to skip this other part, and then I'm going to say, then this negative energy comes in. Gomer. So the name Gomer came to me, and that is what I, in this part of my journal, what I call the negative energy that manifested into my consciousness during the last video. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to call him Gomer. But Gomer Pyle is who came into my mind when I thought Gomer. Because Gomer Pyle, if anybody who's old enough to know who Gomer Pyle is, it was a sitcom on TV back in the 60s. I used to watch reruns when I was a kid. And he was like the most non-threatening person, most sincere, honest, loyal character on a show in those days. It was just, he was just not negative at all. Always positive. Always looking for, the bright side, the silver lining. And so I thought, it's actually appropriate to call him Gomer, call this energy Gomer, because it's probably the most misunderstood energy in our religious mythology, what it's become today, or religious beliefs, which have been manipulated. So this video will go more into that. So Gomer comes in. Gomer is not, and so it says, then this negative energy comes in. Gomer is not what we think he is. He gave me a look I have given so many. So there's just a look I have, and I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Or what are you thinking? Or seriously? Come on. And so he gives me that look. He gives me my look back to me. And he says, you're letting them taunt you. They are attacking your consciousness. Just like you told this person to be aware of the manipulation, I'm telling you to be aware of the manipulation. After we chatted, he put a protective bubble of energy around me. a bubble of protective energy around me. And then my ears started ringing, just super skyrocketed, just high pitched ringing in my ears while I'm on the bus. And so, and what he did was, he not only put that protective field around me, but he also, I saw him just kind of standing and keeping all the negative energy at bay. And so I'll have to say that since that day, which has been almost a week, tomorrow it'll be a week, I haven't really had any of those negative thoughts come in, those questioning thoughts, those doubting thoughts of what I know to be true, right? Self-sabotaging thoughts. That evening, in the evening, Gomer came in and said, these negative energies have done their bidding. I do not serve them, I serve you. The goal is to transcend Mother Earth. They had a choice. They must move to another world to find their way back to center. So he's talking about these people who have chosen to invest themselves in the negative polarity. They must leave Mother Earth, incarnate on another world, and find their way back to center. These energies might feel abandoned, meaning they may feel abandoned by this, whoever they're worshiping, right? These energies might feel abandoned, but they are not. They are merely in the middle of a lesson. The dark energy, negative intentions will not permeate your field. So their dark energy, their negative intentions, whatever they're trying to project at me, he's not gonna, this energy, Gomer's not gonna allow them to permeate my field, my energy field. But it is in these times, excuse me, but it is in these times where they will become most desperate, as their perceived God does not fortify their energy. He never did. It was their negativity that fueled one another. But that energy field is petering out on this world. So this negative polarity, these people who are invested in worshiping in this negative energy, they were kind of directing this worship towards their God. Okay, so this negative energy, which has been named in Christian theology as Satan or Lucifer, excuse me. So they're worshiping this perceived negative energy of Satan, right? But this negative energy is not that thing. This negative energy provides, let's say, temptation or opportunities to be tempted, and then they have a choice whether they want to delve way deep into that temptation, which is what I discussed in the last video, or just kind of have a drink and then sit back and enjoy the moment, instead of having 50 drinks and becoming belligerent, drunk, and obnoxious, or even becoming an alcoholic, where they move to the excess of that temptation, right? That person, that being, chooses to move in that direction. With all these other areas that are very dark, of violence, pedophilia, torture and torment, and control, oppression, slavery, sexual slavery of children and young men and women. Those individuals choose that, and they delve in it deeply, and they give into whatever perverse energy that's driving them. Okay, from within, though, that's coming from within. That's not manipulation by this, what we would call Satan or Lucifer. That is their choice to move in that direction and then continue to engage in that behavior and cause harm to others. Okay, And so, since this energy is just providing the temptation, it's not fueling the negativity. The individual becomes addicted to it or drawn to that and continues to perpetuate that energy by choice. So this negative energy isn't fueling it, it is the person who is engaging it. So that person, those people, bring that negative energy to this world. Okay? This is not God, or this is not Satan forcing people into doing dark or participating in dark energy or behavior. That is the individual being on this world who is choosing to engage in that behavior and continue to engage in that behavior. Okay? Our belief system was created many years ago. It grew and developed. The way you perceive religion and bring it into your home and families was established. The concept of light and dark, good and evil, right and wrong. So, how do you process Gomer and God being two parts of the whole, divinity, the creator of all things? How can you grow from here? How do you process and build on that truth? Just as the goodness comes from within, so does the depravity. How do you take that knowledge, that knowing, and use it as a tool of transcendence? In the past, when the crops would die, no water, drought, pestilence, hurricanes, etc., the people would make a sacrifice to the gods to appease them. The culling could be considered such an action to appease their god in order to regain his support. So back here when Gomer said, I do not serve them, I serve you. The goal is to transcend Mother Earth. They had a choice. They must move to another world to find their way back to center. And he chose to protect my energy field from this negative polarity so that I might fulfill my soul purpose. He kind of, I guess if you were worshiping this energy and then it chose to protect the energy field of the person or being that is here to transcend or help transcend Mother Earth into balance, that could be considered a betrayal, right? So, oh my God, our God has betrayed us, or our God has left us. Just the same way as when in the past, when there was the crops would die or there was this drought and people would feel like, oh my God, what have we done to anger the gods? How do we appease them so that they might make it rain so our crops will have water? What do? Oh, we sacrifice an animal, okay, or maybe a person, I don't know, depending on what culture we're in. So the culling could be considered such an action to appease their god in order to regain his support. Gomer confirms this is a viable explanation, and the ringing in my ears increases in pitch. So as soon as I thought that that thought came in, Gomer confirmed it, and then again the ringing goes up. So the ringing going up in my ears, goosebumps on my arm, heating up in my body are all affirmations. Although that may be an accurate assessment of what is to come, it will not bear the result they are looking for. Gomer never looked for or requested sacrifices. They just offered them in hopes of obtaining that which they desired. Just as one can manifest good from their thoughts and actions, that same individual can manifest negativity with their thoughts and actions. This is a result of the law of flow, attraction, manifestation, karma, etc. It is not necessarily good or bad. It just is. So whether you're manifesting positive or negative energy into your life is your choice. Okay, God doesn't manifest good or bad into your life. It's that part of what you put out is what you draw to you. In the law of manifestation, the law of attraction, the law of karma, all these spiritual laws work together. No one works in isolation. And so as you put energy out into the world, out into the universe, whether it's good or bad, that is what you will work towards bringing back into your life. And so attraction, flow, manifestation, abundance, karma, all these laws work together to aid or direct the flow of energy in the universe. So again, it says, it is not necessarily good or bad, it just is. They will bring the darkness upon themselves. So all this negative polarity, these people who are worshiping this negative polarity, these people who are manifesting from the negative, the way they're going to try to hold on to this world is to put out a whole lot of negative energy to get the flow of negative energy on their side so that they can take over, right? And how are they going to do this? They have been doing it by instilling fear, insecurity in humanity. And as they do that, they affect the collective consciousness, and then they manifest negativity in the world through all the people they're affecting. Okay, they're affecting their consciousness and manifesting that negativity through that fear. So when this culling happens, that is about manifesting fear and negativity through the fear of the collective consciousness, through the fear of the individual that affects the collective consciousness, okay? And also, it's a two-edged sword in that through that process, they will also be filtering out or weeding out all the weaker people, the weaker individuals who are, in their mind, the weaker individuals who are becoming a weight on society. So people who are retired aren't really being productive. So, and then we have to support them with Social Security and other things, right? And so that becomes a weight on this system that they've created. So how do you fix that problem? You get rid of them. So you don't have people that need a place to live, medical, financial support, support with physical, whether they're living in a assisted living or convalescent hospital or memory care. If they're not here, you don't have to provide those things, right? So they are weeding out all the less productive individuals in the process while instilling fear. So there's a two-edged sword here. There's two things that are, or not a two-edged sword, but there are two things that they are trying to accomplish through this culling, okay? And so I can't remember where I saw this, but it just resonated with me, so I wrote it down. I wish I wrote down where I saw it, read it, or heard it. A wise man is not cowed by knowledge. Instead, he uses it to guide him. And so that's very important. That's a good thing for me to hear, because sometimes I don't want to talk about the things that come in because I think it's too much for people to hear, or they're not ready to hear it. But I'm meant to share the knowledge and the wisdom. I'm meant to share the information, and then people can decide what they want to do with it. So the other thing is so when the last video that Gomer came in, and I did a drawing, and I did the drawing after I did the video because it came in during the video. And when I sat and I was trying to channeling, and I'm trying to get a visual again, and I couldn't see him. And even though I saw him and I could describe it in the video, after the video when I went to draw it, I couldn't see him. So every time I tried to visualize it, I only saw the eyes, and they were just round circles. And what came to me was when the people pass, when individuals pass, they used to put the coins on their eyes, right? And it was to pay the ferryman to take the body across the river Styx, right? So the 2 coins over the eyes were meant to take the person who had passed across the river Styx to the afterworld, to the afterlife. And so all I could see were those 2 eyes with coins over them. So and then I saw the hair, or whatever you want to call it, on top, and then I saw the shape of the face. I just felt, and I didn't see it. I felt the shape of the face. I saw the little things on top, and I saw the eyes, and I knew the mask was red with black, and it actually had a wood grain to it. So I tried to draw something reminiscent of a wood grain. So I started channeling again. This is on the 16th, and I saw his mask better, and so I drew that, and so that's more what it was like. It was more like a tiki statue, I remember when I growing up to see my family in Hawaii. The tiki statues, I used to see them all the time. And then also that dragon, the Chinese dragon. And so it was like a combination of both. So I tried to kind of do that, and it still had the wood grain, but I wasn't going to try to draw the wood grain. That was too much. And so as I was drawing this, and as I was thinking about Gomer, he reminded me, he said, remember, I could not deny you. I could not defy you, even if I wanted to. Because he is of the divine. He is not a negative energy. He is a positive energy. And he is a loving energy. And so, again, and he is androgynous. I keep saying he because I was raised Catholic, and I associate most of the angels as being masculine or male, okay? And so, after I drew the mask, that night, actually I woke up in the middle of the night, and Gomer came in to explain to me about the mask, because it did look like a mask, even though he looked like a being, a human being, I guess, and the mask looked like his face. I wasn't sure how to take that, so I started thinking to myself, the mask may represent perception also, our perception of who this energy is. But I didn't, so that's all. I'm just going to leave it there. So then in the middle of the night, I woke up, and I got my pencil out because this information started coming. And it says, it is a mask representing the false fronts projected by those embodying the deepest, darkest parts of the negative polarity. I am not bad. I am not evil. I am of the light, representing facets of darkness. Then the mask and everything else fell away. This energy presented itself as an angel, then said, there are no fallen angels. So, I guess in the Bible or Christian beliefs, Lucifer was a fallen angel. And so he said, there are no fallen angels. And the way he showed himself was, the mask and everything else fell away, and a big bright light came out, and he looked like a very traditional angel, just filled with light, you know, beautiful golden flowing hair, kind of golden, I would say like a dishwater blonde, we used to call it, and then big huge wings, all in white, and just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. The feeling, so The feeling was that darkness has turned to light. The darkness, the negative polarity had manifested onto this world, has been transmuted into light energy. The implications of this, they must begin a new wave of negative energy, signifying the need for the start of the culling. So since that negative energy has been transmuted into positive energy and is being kind of neutralized, this negative polarity, this negative energy on this world must start a new wave of negative energy. What I was talking about earlier, they must find a way to get that flow of negative energy moving again, which means they have to instill fear in people. They have to create fear in the collective consciousness to start that flow of energy, and that will be the culling. After Gomer took his mask off and turned into an angel, he said, the angel bowed to me, Gomer bowed to me, and he said, I cannot deny you or defy you. I am you. And so today, when I was getting ready to do the video and I was walking around and this came to me, we are all responsible for what is going on this world, and we are all accountable. In these moments, we are holding each other accountable, for we are unified always, never apart. We have caused the destruction of this world. We have razed it to the ground. Razed, R-A-Z-E-D. Those transcending are manifesting the resurrection of Mother Earth. We are not victims of darkness. We are participants in this charade placed before us. We have all had a choice in how we would respond to the events, experiences placed before us. We are not victims. We are participants. And so I think these are things that people don't want to hear and would have a hard time hearing, because it's easier to feel victimized than to accept your part, your role in what's happening in this world or on this world. But the problem with that is it's not truthful. We are trying to circumvent accountability. I've watched this world transition out of accountability into victimization. All the stuff that's happening. Look at all the victims in this world. They're trying to fight for all the victims in this world, but there is no accountability. There is no accountability. And those that they're trying to hold accountable, they're holding them accountable for things they're not responsible for. Or they're trying to hold them accountable for doing their job, which is to protect and serve. And I'm talking about law enforcement. I always said to people, I don't carry a gun. I don't have weapons. I have my wits, my experience, and I have 911. That's it. And that's my truth. And so whether or not people want to admit it or accept it, you know, we have an organization that is put in place to protect and serve. And we are not allowing them to do their job. And we're victimizing them for doing their job. And I will stand fast on that. And I will not yield on that. The same way I won't yield on my support of our servicemen and what they have done, what they have sacrificed, mind, body, and spirit, for our freedoms, for our rights, which I would say right now are being trampled. So we are willing participants in what's happening on this world. And so we all have a choice. We still have a choice. But we have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to understand that we play a role in what's going on. And we play a role in the change, the transition, the transcendence, and the healing of this world. And so the last thing, this just came in right before I started the video, and not really anything I want to say, but I'm going to say it because they're like, you have to say it. And it came in before the angels were lined up and started moving into formation. So this is the order of what came in when I started clearing my energy. I am the cup. I am the golden chalice. I carry the wisdom and knowledge meant to transition Mother Earth and bring balance to this world. I am one with everything. And they said to me, you are clear and we are ready. The time is now. And then they were all in single file, and they started to move into formation. So I'm just going to take a minute and see if anything comes. So all they said was, there's nothing more to say. We are ready. We await your arrival. So I guess I'm going to be going somewhere. I guess that's it. Thank you.